Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to Literacy for All. We're on WS Radio, and our guest today is Blanca Romero. She's with the National Association of Latino Elected Officials, and we're going to talk about that and the Educational Fund and a few other things related to the work that she's doing. Welcome to the show, Blanca.
Thank you, Jose. My name is Blanca Romero, and again, I'm the regional manager for San Diego, and I will be working on the census with the communities.
Very good. So glad to have you here. And I know there's different aspects of the work that you're doing. We're interested, you and I had talked a few weeks ago about the work that you're doing with the census and also just with the gaining Latino participation in the American political process. And I know we're going to talk about that. And how does that tie into our theme of literacy? But there are certain things that we have to deal with, given certain populations. I think you call it sensitive populations. Is that right? And just some of the things that are taking place in different communities, low-income communities, ethnic populations, Latino populations, and that's why, in part, why you're doing the work that you're doing. Did I get that right?
Yes. So again, the organization is the National Association for Latino Elected Officials. We're a nonprofit organization. We are nonpartisan, and we basically facilitate the participation, the full participation of Latinos in the American political process. And the census is important to us, and we can go further into it.
And it's just right now a very exciting time in politics for a number of reasons. And I just moved from Escondido to Chula Vista. In Escondido, a new mayor was elected, and the mayor who was there, Mayor Bed, had been there for a while. He was defeated, and the folks who are analyzing what took place in this particular election with the mayor's race, what they're saying is in this case, it looks like the Latino vote came out. What can you say about that, and maybe what's taking place, and how does that, again, affect the work that you're doing?
All right. We consider the Latino vote very important, and one of the things that the organization and many other organizations have done is we have engaged Latino voters. We have provided educational workshops. My organization, for example, does citizenship workshops where we try to reduce the barriers to become a citizen and to be able to vote. So once you're a citizen, there's certain rights and responsibilities, and voting is amongst them. Being a civic participant is amongst them. So it didn't just happen overnight. Mm-hmm. It has been work that we have been doing. Communities, organizations, elected officials have been doing for years now. So it's definitely something that has taken a lot of work from many communities, and it's not as, you can't just say, oh, you won because the Latinos voted for you. There are many barriers to citizenship. The English language is also a barrier. So it's taken a lot of efforts, a lot of focused efforts to be able to have a Latino vote. And so that's why the census is very important for us, because, there are a lot of us, and it affects, not just Latinos, but everybody, because, the census, voting and citizenship, it's really about people, power and money. So it's not just about Latinos. It's about everybody.
Very good. And there you referenced some of the obstacles, because when you're talking about voters, you are talking about citizens. So that's one. But at the same time, you have folks who we can say, I think, are still becoming educated about their rights. Thank you. Or as citizens. The things that they can be doing, et cetera. When I look, for example, and I see the parallel between, and I know there are different things, and at the same time, there's power and quality of life involved here. When I look at, for example, healthcare, and we look at the obstacles to quality health care. And a lot of it is communication, and it's barriers that are based on cultural differences, language differences, and then the one we'll talk about more, and let's talk about all three of them, and then literacy, the ability to read information. Are those some of the things that you see that you're addressing that are getting better, staying the same?
There are three things that NALEO does. One is, as part of the citizenship workshop, we provide technical assistance. So people who may not know how to complete a form, or even, legal assistance. I don't necessarily understand a lot of the legal verbiage. So at these citizenship workshops, we have attorneys who will look at the application, who will ask questions, dig into the history, to reduce that barrier that is, in fact, present when attempting to become a citizen. Another thing that NALEO does is we have, it's called a Vota hotline. So it's a hotline where anyone going through any barriers, whether it be language, they don't know maybe they can't read where their polling station is at, maybe they need language assistance, they can call that hotline and we will provide information. And then the last thing that we do is that for the census in 2020, we will also be providing technical assistance. So we will be having centers where people who have limited English or limited computer skills, or even just limited the ability to be able to write properly and complete an application, we'll be providing that sort of assistance, because that's really one of the biggest barriers that we have as well.
This is important work. How far along do you feel, and tell me how long the organization has been around, about how things are moving around, how much do people know that you're out there, and then the hotline, how are people finding out about that? Is it the training with the attorneys, for example?
So NALEO was founded in 1981. And currently, the hotline, we promote the hotline via Univision. It has been very popular through those channels of communication. It was mostly during election time, but we will also have it available during the census. So if anybody has any information, it's Vota, and they can contact us, and we will provide information. And then, what was your other question?
Just how things are progressing. Is it becoming more visible? People are accessing, for example, the hotline. There's better name recognition.
We are a national association, so we're definitely present in different states. We're also present in California. Our headquarters are located in LA, Los Angeles, and I'm here in San Diego. So we're definitely partnering with different organizations. One of the things that we're doing, the census is in the year 2020, so it's still some time, from now. But what we're doing is we're promoting awareness, because, as part of a literacy issue is that sometimes we don't learn about the census in our educational curriculum. So we are attempting to promote the census via the K through 12 grades, provide some sort of curriculum where they can learn themselves what the census is. So many of us don't know that the census it happens every 10 years, and that it's mandated by the Constitution. So, for example, every 10 years, we have to count, to have a tally of everybody, no matter what ethnicity and no matter their citizenship status, no matter their age, everyone needs to be counted. So we're definitely attempting to promote right now what is the census. So by the time the 2020 comes, we're all educated and we're all aware and we all know what that is.
And we're just trying to count people, but it gets very political. And just looking at the name, the National Association of Latino Elected Officials, something that is very necessary. Now, driving into the studio today, I was listening to an interview with Ice Cube, and they asked him about politics, and he said life is political, and his songs are political. And so, something as simple as counting people becomes political. And I know that it's crucial that that's done so that there is So there's balance, and there's an accounting for how we're spending money, et cetera, and where funds are going, and that certain populations tend to be undercounted, and you're trying to deal with that. Is that correct?
Yes. We have certain sensitive populations that are in danger of being undercounted, and there's various consequences to that. One is that if we don't have an accurate count of, the elderly, the children, everybody in our communities, we lose funds. We lose federal funds. So that affects our Medicare, our children's health insurance program, nutritional assistance programs, just the funds that we get for our highways and our roads. It affects all of that. So as a community, San Diego community, it affects us all when we don't count people. Secondly, we have, certain populations that are sensitive. So Latinos, for example, because we might be recent immigrants, perhaps we don't know the language barrier very well, or our educational level is not as high as others. We are in danger of not wanting to participate with government, not wanting to fill and complete the questionnaire. We also have small children that are not being counted. So, for example, in the last census, 1 million children were not counted under the ages of 5. And that's really important because, again, it affects the funds that we have. It affects our ability to plan programs and be able to provide a quality life for
Very
them.
important. We're going to come back to all of that. You're listening to Literacy for All on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. You can say we'll be right back.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children, because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.